All right, James, let's take a quick peek at this property. First thing we look at for a suburban area, the amount of contiguous cover and the flow you have is just unbelievable. You don't see many properties like this. So what we're looking at is anywhere there's wooded cover where the deer can travel, they're going to use that unless human activity disturbs it and shuts it down. Now, in a situation like this, the deer are trained to accept some human activity. They don't necessarily like it, but they work around it. But nonetheless, at certain times a year, a typical suburban, if you had a 40 acre backyard, the deer might only be on those 40 acres. You got hundreds of acres wrapped up in potential deer traffic on your property. Now, what that means for us is that with your house located up here, that's our area of known human activity, as are these other houses. They're all known areas of human activity, and the deer are going to avoid those during daylight to some extent. Some of these animals will become conditioned, and they will spend time in people's yards during daylight around the people. But by and large, some of the smarter, warier, older bucks that we really want to target, they're a different kind of animal. So what you want to focus on is with those lines of contiguous cover being there, and the opportunity for flow on and off your property from the neighbors to yours existing, we don't want to mess that up. So what happens, the best strategy for something like this, especially since we're on a 40, the max distance we have across the property from your house here is 486 yards. So what we want to do is September and October, when the deer are in bed to feed and feed to bed mode, we take a very conservative approach to hunting the property. And what that means is we're hunting food, and we're only hunting the food in areas that we have 100% bulletproof access, and we build those sites so we can get in and out of them, especially with the budget that you mentioned. You said you got a $10,000 annual budget. You can do things with things you plant and with dirt work to build those sites so that with the proper wind, you can get in and out of those locations 100 times a year if you want to, and the deer are never going to know you're there. Now, by doing that, by building those bed to feed and food to bed sites that are bulletproof, what we're doing is if we do bedding improvements to our property, that allows us to hold does. We have the food, they don't feel like they're being hunted, they are going to live on our property because they feel super safe. They think that they have us beat. They think they found an area of wooded cover that they want to bed in that humans don't exist in. And it's theirs, and they feel incredibly safe. So maybe you can set up 2 or 3 doe groups on this property by splitting them up, giving them all equal access to the equal kind of food so they don't have to fight over it. What that does for us then is September and October, we know the draw is food. That's what we're hunting. If we have area bucks bedded on us or close enough by, we're going to see them on the food as well as the doe groups that live there. Those doe groups, we should see them every single day in those food plots because we're not going to mess it up. Now come November, when the bucks are on their feet, especially the ones that don't like being around people, they know that those doe groups are bedded on your property. They come through at night, they're checking them out. They know they're there. We have a reason for them to visit our property during daylight in November because we are bedding the doe groups. If we have 3 doe groups bedded on this property, 2, if we have 1 doe group bedded on this property, and they are there consistently, that buck is going to make it, all the bucks that are on their feet during daylight in the neighborhood are going to make your property a place that they stop because they know there are some does to check. Now, if we hunt this property too aggressively, we blow up this line of contiguous cover with human scent, we're spooking the deer here, they see, hear, smell us. We blow up this spot over here of contiguous cover. We blow up this spot of contiguous cover. If we blow up those lanes and we clear that daylight travel and we chase those doe groups off of our property, the bucks don't have a reason to visit us during daylight in November. Now your property, like I said, with all the cover they can cruise through, they're still going to roll through there to get from point A to point B on the neighbors, but they're not going to be downwind of specific doe bedding areas to scent check those does to see if they're in estrus. So again here, wonderful strategy. It's not that big. 2-3 food plots in here with bulletproof access. We only hunt them with the right winds. We let our wind blow to dead zones, which are residential houses where they're used to that human odor. Dictate some doe bedding here. If we don't kill those bucks in September and October on the food or near the food, we know where they're going to be during November because we know where the does are bedded, and we're going to set up cruise lanes for those bucks to cruise with different winds to get downwind of those bedded does. So pretty easy strategy to put together. If you can get it all put together yourself, that's great. If you want some help, give Sean a call. He can set you up on a full plan for this property for, I think you're just over 40 acres. So tell him to give you the $599 for 40 acres and under instead of the $799 for over 40. It's only 3 acres over, and if we pull your yard out of that, it won't count. So in a nutshell, that's how you make this one work the best. If you want some help with it, I'd love to help put it together for you. Done a lot of properties like this, and the guys are very satisfied. So good luck with this one.